Welcome to Stupid for Game of Thrones. My name is Sarah Penna. This is my co-host Bob Jennings, aka the Khaleesi and the Call tonight. As always, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and like us on Facebook so you can keep up with all of our awesome content that we put up there throughout the week. So, how about it? This week's episode was jam-packed. A lot of stuff happened. There was a lot of build-up to this episode.
I know. I wish I watched it. I watched it twice yesterday. That's
yeah, I watched it a couple times. It is a crazy episode, but let's do the news first.
Do the news. It's a raven! Oh my God! It's not. Wait, throw it again.
It was being blocked by the text. Go ahead, now throw it.
Now throw it. It's another raven.
2 ravens.
Meister Lewin sent this
Dark
one.
Words.
Oh, the news. Well, what's in the news? We've got the Game of Thrones rating sweep is continuing. We got some numbers here for you. Wow, man, look at this.
3.9 million.
3.9 million. Beating the NBA playoffs?
That's what I'm talking
Beating
about.
the NBA playoffs? It's round one.
Wow.
It's round one.
So
Celtics.
we're not going to do a lot of news today because there is just so much to go into.
Right.
So we're just going to jump right into it. I think the first thing is the newest character that we got introduced to.
Oh, are we doing the crowning moments?
Well,
or
if
is
we're
this-
going in order.
You don't have to go in order. See the thing down the side?
Yeah.
We can just ignore that.
Oh.
And I can still highlight it, and it's still.
We're off to a rocky
later on
start
if you're
here,
watching on
ladies
YouTube.
and gentlemen. But
If you
we're
notice on
getting it
YouTube
together.
when it gets
Let's-
bright,
let-
you can click on it,
Is
and
that
it annotates over to that
Is that
section.
news or is that crowning moments?
This is.
You can do crowning.
It's
moments.
okay.
Let's make it a
You can do
crowning
head
moment. It
count.
was crowning for
All right,
me.
go ahead, crowning
Fine.
moments.
We can't see anything, so. I
I'm
don't know
pointing.
what is
Go.
going on.
So you.
All right.
Live, people.
And we're back with.
I'll write it. We'll do it live. No.
Okay. Settle down, everyone. We're going to try and talk
All
about
right.
Game of Thrones tonight. We're off to a little bit of a rocky start. Nothing's really working, but okay. The first thing, which I was trying to say before, is that our first new character that we got introduced to was Ygritte.
Mm-hmm.
She is a wilding. She is kissed by fire, so she has the lovely red hair.
Aye, she
and
does.
some of you might recognize her from Downton Abbey. Downtown Abbey,
Downtown
however
Arby's.
you want to say it.
It's the same
Discuss.
show, but with no beheadings.
Discuss in the comments how you say it.
Set in World War I.
So Rose Leslie, she's fantastic. Not actually exactly how I pictured Ygritte.
She's pretty close.
Ygritte.
I think it was pretty decent.
I thought
casting.
her hair was going to be like really curly and big.
Right.
That's how I mean that was the only difference. She's beautiful in a wild.
What do you think
obviously,
of her introduction? I think that it came out pretty decent. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see John's tension and she calls him out, and she's always kind of calling him out, like,
Right from the get-go now.
Right from the get-go.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, right from the get-go. She's saying, you're too scared to kill a woman. You've never killed a woman before, and kind of calls him on his doubt. And then she escapes because of that. So, and he kind of just captures her, and there's this very cute moment where she's like, you're going to die of cold if you don't snuggle me, basically. And she's doing this little...
Well, it's more like, get over
this little move. And I thought it was adorable, and I love it. And he's like, stop moving.
that was pretty fun to watch, you know. And I think people might be able to guess where that's headed. But the way this episode started, it's a big deal.
Yeah, so as we did last week, which I think worked really well, we are going to just list the crowning moments.
Sure.
One by one, just really quick run through them with no interruptions. And then we will discuss
I think that was meant for me.
No.
Right, Bob? No
Right?
interruptions.
Right, Bob?
And then we will go.
Sure.
Then you can interrupt and say, and expound all of your knowledge and your
Okay.
passion.
No, it's all right.
Okay, 1. Bran yields Winterfell to Theon.
Big deal. It's a big deal
It's a
right
big
there.
deal. It's huge. Bran is this, he's young. Well, we'll go into it.
Right.
He's young. He's crippled. He has to yield. Theon comes in, is basically like, you don't really have a choice. And it's not really malicious. He just like sits on the bed and he's like, this is what a good little lord would do.
It was almost brotherly.
Yeah,
You
it was
know?
very weird.
By the way, brother, I'm taking your castle.
Yeah. And then Theon gets put into this situation where he kills Sir Roderick, who was the person who taught him how to
The Master
use
at
a sword,
Arms.
the Master of Arms. kind of if you watch the interactive series, DBY says he's kind of like the football coach. So you can imagine that emotional reaction to him having to actually kill Sir Roderick, because his new posse is basically his Ironborn posse is like, you have to do this or we'll never respect you.
Right.
His whole thing has always been about respect. And then Jon meets Ygritte, which we already talked about. Myrcella is sent away, which leads into this crazy scene where the mob starts attacking the Lannisters and their parade, and stuff just goes crazy. Sansa almost gets raped, and we'll talk about that because it's a little different than in the book. Then we go back to seeing Arya. She uses her second wish to kill Armory Lorch, who's kind of a Lannister henchman, very evil guy, and he's finding out. He's like, what are you doing with this piece of paper that you stole? Like, I'm going to go tell Tywin on you, and we're going to find out who you are. And that is also a scene where Littlefinger comes, and we can talk about that also because that is also not in the book. Robb introduces the nurse to his mom, which is...
Hey! I was totally not hitting on this really cute chick. No, I'll be right with you. No, you know?
And who is she? Because, you know, in the book...
Well, let's get to the book moments.
Okay, all right. There's a lot that's different. What we're getting at is there's a lot that's different. Robb finds out about Theon, and he's obviously very upset. Theon sleeps with Osha. Osha saves Bran, Rickon, and Hodor, and... the dragons are stolen.
Big deal. Now, was that a whole season or one episode? I mean, incredible amount of information.
Now you do all the talking.
Okay, well, here we go. We start with, I love the way they got right into the action, into when the episode just starts with a bang. I love when episodes start with a lot of action. Theon it's over. We don't get to see any of the taking of Winterfell. In fact, they even threw a little exposition and dialogue in there, and it's like, I threw grappling hooks over the wall. That's how I get in here. Get up. Oh, wait, you're crippled. Come here, let me help you. Where's Hodor? So he had, like you said, he had to yield the castle to save the people who live in Winterfell.
Yeah.
And they catch Sir Roderick on the way back from Qhorin Square, and they takes three big swings and knock his head off. And that was an emotional moment.
And then he kicks the head off.
Kicks it. It's a point of no return.
Yeah.
You know, it's a real game changer, and it's why the show is really good. I think people who are fans of just the television show and haven't read the books probably didn't know that Theon was going to go this far.
Yeah. I mean, he is this controversial character because he's kind of an asshole. He's kind of a dick. Is how I heard. I was reading online. A lot of people were describing him like he's just kind of a dick.
But you also feel a little bit bad for him because, especially like, was it 2 episodes? He's talking to his father. You gave me away.
Yeah.
You gave me away. So I think there was a pull on the heartstrings. Like, oh, the poor guy. I hope he gets. Wait a second. He just killed my favorite kid.
But then you also, I mean, it isn't just black and white because you do feel for, even though I really don't like him. That mustache and
that weak stash.
But he doesn't really have a family. He doesn't have any allegiances, and all he has a huge ego. He's very arrogant. All he cares about is people respecting him. And his whole life, no one's respected him. His dad's like, this one, he can go. He had another brother. It just...
He's overcompensating.
Yeah.
It's not working.
and because of this arrogance, he gets tricked into sleeping with Osha. She's basically can convince him, like, oh, I'm on your side. Like, I'm this wildling.
I have a question.
Freedom.
Let me ask you a question about that. What exactly did she accomplish by sleeping with Theon?
Well,
I'll throw that to anybody in the room because it made no sense. That's not how she got out of Winterfell. It's like, I'm gonna sleep with this guy. Good, he's asleep.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna kill him.
I thought she was gonna kill him. I'm gonna go kill somebody else.
Yeah, I think he's naked. He's tired. He doesn't.
Well, he wasn't gonna be watching them anyway.
He doesn't have his armor.
Yeah,
but no, the guards were going to watch. That guard was going to be watching him.
Then they couldn't get out. Then the guards would. He did have enough guys with him.
Right.
So she managed to. I'm gonna sleep with him because I know there's one guard, and when he falls asleep,
I think, and I'm gonna call bullshit here. I think it was just a weird mistake.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was
they cut something in the edit. And they're like, screw it, we don't have to.
There was no other sex scenes.
Oh, we needed a sex scene.
Well, he asked, "Why did you do that?" right?
Mhm.
And then and she's like, "This was your dream" or something, and I was trying to figure that
Your
out.
dream, because in the previous episode, Bran said, I had this dream that the oceans were coming over the walls of Winterfell. And when Theon says,
Right.
I threw the grappling hook
I think I might have
over.
just figured it out, and maybe throw it out to the room. Maybe
Yep.
because no one would miss her. They wouldn't be looking for her because she asked for her freedom. She's gone.
Ah.
So
Interesting.
And
If-
also to reiterate that that's his weakness. is sex.
yeah, sex is definitely,
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to arrogance and,
and
power.
flattery, you know.
Arrogance and power.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
his thing. Did anyone in the chat room have any?
Somebody said freedom, right? Super
Yeah, that's
Seth
probably
Stone
what it
was
was.
like freedom.
Yeah.
And then Tech Time Streamer, we will get to this. Agree or disagree, the episode felt like the biggest departure from the books, which we will
Oh,
talk about a little bit later.
Absolutely. I mean, we could jump into that now
into it.
because a lot of the crowning moments actually do have to do with departures from the book. So, I mean, I think that,
So we'll put it, let's put it in the context of crowning moments and then talk about how it's different from the book.
Okay, yeah. So, the scene where the Lannisters get attacked, this mob scene, there's a character in the book.
Which I think you get one shot of her,
You get one shot of her.
but nobody knows who she is. You
Yeah.
only know who she is if you read
And
the
I
book.
don't know if she's gonna come back or or if she's gonna play a role. But basically, her name's Lollies. She gets raped. I won't tell you what happens in case something
Right.
else happens. But actually, in the book,
They borrowed a lot of that sort of imagery and put it into Sansa.
Right.
And you identify more with Sansa because this is somebody we've been with for a year and a
Yeah.
half. And that didn't happen in the book.
No.
But it's a great moment, a nice little hero moment for Dog.
for the dog. And actually, his the actor who plays him also did a little thing in the interactive, and he said something very interesting, which was that you have this moment where they're alone. He's just saved her, and you can tell that he's trying to give her survival tips
Right.
without betraying Joffrey or seeming like he's betraying Joffrey.
It all starts with, last year when in the handkerchief he tells her to keep it, you'll need it again.
Yeah. He has this he has this interesting relationship with Sansa that we don't really know where it's headed or
Yeah, it's a
what's
little
going
pervy.
on.
It's all he asks about.
I'm just kidding.
Like Big Brother.
Yes.
Well, and Tyrion
In the
is
book it is.
actually the only one who cares where Sansa is. And
Yeah.
I love the scene where Tyrion slaps Joffrey.
Oh, that
Joffrey
was
has
great.
shit all over his face, literally.
That did happen in the
Yes,
book.
that did.
Yeah.
And Tyrion
When the shit hit the king.
and Tyrion gets slapped. I mean, Tyrion slaps Joffrey. I
Oh,
love
did my
that.
hand fall off? It was great. It was fantastic. I loved it. And I love it when he smacks that kid because I want to smack that kid.
Everyone does. He's
Everybody wants to
evil.
smack that
He's
kid.
pure evil.
I like the show because of him though.
Yeah, well,
I wanna
that's,
see
that's when you know
continuously.
he's
That's all I
doing a
wanna
really
see
good
is
job
Joffrey.
as an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
You just when you have an actor like Theon, who you hate as well,
Yes.
they're nailing it. They're,
Yeah.
they're doing exactly
Yeah.
what they're supposed to be
Yeah.
doing. So wait, there was another. Before we get to the very end, there was a couple of different parts
Yeah.
from the book. Now, when we're in Qarth, Zaros takes Dany to. What is that guy's name? And I think they just even said it in the first episode. My name is too difficult to pronounce. They're not kidding. I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Yeah, when we're
Yeah.
in Qarth and all these areas, the names get very, very confused. Even
It's
more,
just like throwing
you think-
X's and Z's at the wall.
Yeah. It's impossible to keep them all straight, I think.
But that guy's great too. And you cannot have my ships.
Yeah.
You know?
I love him. He's just like,
He's great too. He's
you
stealing
might win
every
the throne, but not with my ships.
scene. Yeah.
And she looks very young, I think, in that scene. She acts
Yeah.
very young. She's trying to kind of like, I am the mother of dragons. And he's like, that's cute.
Yeah, that's true. And every time they want to put her in that situation, they love to pull back on the long shot and realize, oh, that's right, she's only 4'10" in real life.
Yeah, she's tiny. And so I love that because, she does seem like this lost child.
Strangely enough, I was at a party the other day and I shouldn't have said. I should have grabbed this guy and said, "What?" He knows the guy who's playing Zaro.
Oh, well,
So maybe we should try to get him on the show.
yeah. What else? What else was different?
Oh, Littlefinger.
Yeah,
Let's
Littlefinger.
go into that because you've been saying great stuff about it all night.
Well, pressure's on.
Yeah.
Well, Littlefinger.
Tell me all about it. No.
he doesn't even, he's out there playing all these games. And in the book, he is playing games and he's moving pieces around, but not as much.
Right.
And I actually like.
Not as much traveling.
Not as much traveling.
Yeah.
And I like that he comes to Harrenhal, and I like that Tywin's there instead of Bolton.
Right, I
In
totally
the
agree.
book, we've talked about this before, Bolton is there, not Tywin. But Tywin is much more commanding figure, and there's much more at stake if Arya gets found out. And Arya's kind of blowing her cover. You know, she's...
Hey, I can read really well. And I can forget
and I'm
key
a
things.
stonemason.
Yeah.
You know, things aren't adding up. And then Littlefinger is like, something is flickering. Some recognition is flickering.
And I think that added a ton of tension to that scene. I think I love it. For those of you guys who don't know who Roose Bolton is, he actually is in this season. He's the bald guy who's sort of like a second commander to Robb. You know, and he's having more lines every episode now. And in this past episode, he suggested that his bastard, his son in the north, should go retake Winterfell for Robb instead of Robb losing all the progress that he's made. By pushing the Lannisters to the brink.
Yeah.
And
because Robb's immediate instinct is, I have to go back to Winterfell. How can I be king of the North?
Can't even hold his castle.
I can't. Yeah. And my brothers, my little brothers, and it's this. I mean, it's just very emotional. It's a very emotional episode. I mean, and a lot of people get killed. So maybe,
wait, one more difference.
Yes,
one more difference. The dragons.
Oh yeah, of course, the biggest.
The biggest difference. So we can't really say what does happen in the book, but when they're in Qarth, those dragons don't get stolen.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It's a nice tension moment, and I love how they're saving so much money on special effects by never showing them.
Yeah, they never.
You know, like, did you notice when they're going up the wall, you see tail?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we can afford the tails, can't afford the dragon.
Yeah. And they are like crying like children almost. It was really a terrifying noise.
Good. I like the ending. Yeah, it was very echoed.
Yeah, you like fade out and then all you hear is this dragon cry. Like, So yeah, I'm curious to see how they go. But the Arya, Tywin, Littlefinger situation and the dragons getting stolen, I actually like that departure because
Me too.
I don't know what's gonna happen. And I was like, ugh, when Arya was spilled the wine and when the dragons got stolen and when Ygritte got killed, which we'll talk about, I was just like, whoa, I didn't expect this to happen. And instead of, it being confusing, I was like, it actually makes sense, and I like it.
So
I think they're doing a fabulous
job. You're not a purist to the book.
Well, I'm glad that I've got the book experience, but I love to see how they adapt it for HBO.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I love the books, and I like how they played out, but some of the characters that they're playing up a little more, I liked more. And some of the storylines that I thought kind of dragged on a little in the book, they're just cutting out completely. So, there's a lot of travel in the book. There's a lot of walking in the woods, by the streams, hiding in villages. So what you do get is that actually Westeros in this state of war is really suffering. The people are really suffering.
A lot of chaos.
A lot of chaos.
Yeah.
A lot of people getting killed and raped, and their sheep getting stolen. They can't eat. They're starving. And you see that tension play out in the mob in King's Landing, but you don't see all the rest of Westeros is also suffering.
What'd you think of the Septon's? Was it his leg or his arm being lifted up like a
his
trophy?
arm. Hey,
look at me! I got an arm!
That was amazing.
Yeah!
How did that even occur?
I know.
Joe, who's in the room, asked if they were eating him. I don't think they're that savage. They're just so mad they're tearing him.
Limb. Well,
I disagree. I think they were eating them, Joe.
there was a lot of there was a couple
cannibalism,
moments.
incest.
There was a couple of those moments
great show,
in this episode where like fists going through hearts and like.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what do you think?
How?
Yeah.
I'm like, how did he do that?
Well, when he just sliced the guy and you see his entrails drop, I was like,
but
okay,
it didn't look like he sliced it.
It looked like he,
Yeah.
It was.
Well, he had a knife.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear the knife.
Yeah.
By the way,
Right.
whenever you hear a knife stab in movies and like you hear a swing, there was no metal.
Well,
Just the metal going into him.
Maybe he had.
Maybe he had a metal. Maybe he had a pacemaker. I don't know.
Yeah, been through the war.
Maybe it was hitting his bones.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot of those moments though where things were getting ripped apart, and you're like, how did that happen?
It was very bloody, and
Yeah.
I mean, I keep going back to this, but when he kicks Sir Roderick's head off, and
Right,
blood
yeah.
splatters on his face.
You know what I
and-
did? Go! No. So hey, why don't you set up the old
Yeah. All right.
Speaking
We're going to head count.
head count?
All right. A lot of people died.
We have a list.
Yeah, we have a list. Okay, so Sir Roderick, of course,
Roast,
by
yeah.
Theon. We've talked about that a lot. It was gruesome. He didn't get a clean chop. He had to do it a couple times. 3 times.
Yeah.
That's painful.
Put in nasty.
Ugh. 5 wildings by Stark's crew up in the Frost Fangs. That's where they are. They are, I mean, and that's just a terrifying name for a terrifying place. It's beautiful from, the comfort of your living room, but clearly, like, they're talking as they're walking. People have dropped into cavernous places and died, and it's freezing cold, and
Where did they shoot that for the actual show? Elaine, do you know?
I think Detroit.
Detroit. Where they
You're
shoot
looking at it right outside Detroit.
Where did they shoot the Frost Fangs?
Oh, I don't.
Does anybody
Not
know?
Belfast with some other. That's where they put.
No, I
Yeah.
thought it was Finland.
No, I was watching on the extras that they shot the North was in Belfast. I think
Oh,
they said.
Belfast. I think
Yeah.
you're right.
But not those snow caps.
Probably not the snow.
I think that was Iceland.
I think you're right.
And then
Ask the room.
and then
You're
Qarth
asking her.
was Croatia.
Yes.
And that magnificent building was already there.
What, at King's Landing?
No,
Okay.
Qarth.
Oh, no kidding.
That castle was, I mean, they enhanced it, but it was pretty much as you see.
That's
Really
some good
cool.
location casting.
Yeah. I mean, if you
They
ever
must have
see,
a time machine.
if you ever seen The Fall, that movie by Tarsem, it reminds me a little bit of that, the scenery, because all of those are real locations. Anyways, you should
cool.
watch that
Let's see
movie.
if anybody gets this joke. Hoth Maniac says it was filmed in Hoth.
Oh, Star Wars
Star
for the
Wars.
win.
That's a good one.
Who else died?
All right, the Lannister priest, the Septon, the High Septon.
Now that's a question I was gonna have to ask you. Like,
Yeah.
is that the High Septon or is that
Yes.
just a regular? Okay, so that
No,
makes
that
sense.
was the High Septon.
Well, now they need a new one.
Yes, and sometimes they're selected by divinity, sort of like the Mormon people, the quorum or whatever. I'm from Utah, so I know.
Yeah.
They're selected by like divinity, but it's actually politics. So the Lannisters actually put him into power, and then he gets torn limb from limb. And then the 3 people who tried to rape Sansa get their entrails ripped out.
Yes.
Oh God, that was so bloody.
But they did totally pull the Terminator thing with
he's like-
Sandor Clegane. No, he grabbed him by the neck and then he lifted him up. They did the low angle shot where he's like, he lifted him with one hand and then goes.
And the one guy tries to escape, and he's like,
Yeah.
nope. But that was a really tense scene. I was
Yeah.
like, because that wasn't in the book. I was like, is she? No, there's no way she.
There's no way that's gonna happen.
That was gonna happen.
There's
but,
something in the book that was similar, but
Yeah. Theon's guard by Osha.
right.
She just slices. his
dumbass.
neck. She's kind of seducing him, and then
Yeah.
slits his throat.
Nice.
Yeah, good move.
Yeah.
Good move. And then at least 7 people get killed in Qarth, including
Oh, there's gotta be
Eyrie.
more. But
Yeah.
I think it was implied more. You might have only seen 7 on the screen.
There was a lot, including Eyrie, who I love. She's been with Daenerys.
Yeah, that was a big deal at the end.
Yeah.
I was like,
They glossed
"Oh."
over that a little bit, but I loved her. She was so sweet, and she always was giving Daenerys kind of sisterly advice. And in the book, she does a little more than that. She gives
Yeah.
her a little more than that.
Oh, hello.
She does other
Downton
things.
Abbey.
She goes down Abbey. Nice.
I was upset she was killed. I thought she was one of the attractive ones in the show.
She
Aw.
is. She
Yeah,
was.
I was
We just
upset.
put her
So
picture up and we
yeah, she was great.
She just got back to London and she was very surprised because she doesn't have a big resume. Very surprised at all the outpouring.
Mhm.
So I put her Twitter there if you want to give her.
Oh!
Followers.
Maybe we can
Okay.
get her to
Good?
call in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, her Twitter follower Rita Acharya 1.
Yes, and we'll put
And that's
it
a graphic
on our
up?
Facebook.
And put it up on the Facebook
And
Twitter.
We loved her.
Yeah, she was great.
And then finally was Armory
It is known.
Lorch. It is known.
No.
Yes, love her.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Final person.
Oh,
Armory Lorch. He gets killed by Jaqen
Hagar?
Hagar. Oh yeah.
Jaqen Hagar? Is that your
Jaqen
saying it?
Hagar.
A man knows this.
Oh, yeah.
I love him.
He's one of my favorite characters.
I
yeah.
was like,
I like
when
him
she
a lot.
was writing, I was like, you
I
have
like
to
when he's like,
find Jaqen.
It is not for the girl to tell the man when to do this.
Yeah. And she turns around that one guard who has like that long red
Yeah.
hair, and she's like, ah.
There's a lot of action in this episode,
Yeah.
was there not?
This was,
She
yeah.
was-
This thing moved.
There was, this reminded me of the Golden Crown of last season, where
Yeah,
we're
there's
going to
a
throw
lot.
everything into this
Yeah.
episode. That was episode 6. What episode was that last year?
It was episode
It was,
6?
4, I think she
Seems to
said.
following the
Makes
same
me
sort of
sad.
formulaic.
Yeah, and anyways, I was reading a little bit about Armory Lorch. A little more interesting than just kind of glossing over him. He was actually the one who gave the order to have Qhorin killed. And Qhorin, if you will recall, is the guy who saved Arya from seeing her dad get beheaded and gave her that great monologue that we
right.
all love.
Talking about putting an axe in Willem's head.
Yeah, the Willem.
Everyone's like, oh, yeah.
That one. So Armory Lorch, we're happy he's dead. He killed one of the great characters, and he was also with Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, when the Mountain murdered the royal family of the Targaryens, the baby.
Oh.
So.
Well, he was a real piece of shit then. See ya, buddy.
We're really happy you're gone. Good riddance.
Here's a question from Super Seth Stone.
Yes.
I was asking that too. Are those Dothrakis that they killed? The people who were guarding her?
That looked like
They
Qarth
were.
guards.
I think there was a mixture.
Right.
Yeah.
There was some.
Because
there
they
was
were
so
wearing. Because they started wearing.
There
the
must have been
card.
Zaros.
Does
guards.
she have her followers left?
She
Is there
does.
anybody
She has
left?
some
Two guys
left.
are running
She
after
has
her?
some left.
Who's this old dude running after with the beard now? You know the guys they were arguing over the Golden Swan a couple episodes ago?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember him from
Yeah.
season 1. They just threw him in there.
Yeah, so we don't know, and it is actually confusing in the book as well. But she starts getting, she has people who are protecting her that aren't just her blood, the blood of her blood, who survived the Red Waste and
Right.
stayed with her very small Khalasar. So I think it was a combination. Yeah,
Let's take some more questions.
yeah. More questions.
Any
more for us?
That was the only question.
No, we got some some thoughts
some
of
comments.
the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hulk Trekker thinks the warlocks will somehow make the dragons grow faster.
Oh.
That
Get
would
to
be
the good
awesome. That
dragon
does not
scene.
happen in the book.
No, but who knows at this point with the dragons what their storyline is going to be.
They've
But
obviously making a major break right here.
I want to see more warlocks.
Me too.
Because-
it's just more fun.
Yeah. I mean, from what is described already, they have some crazy stuff going on. And they drink, nightshade.
Nightshade
that
turns their
makes-
lips blue and their minds
So there might
soft
be
and-
some cool hallucination drug scene.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the '60s hippie episode.
That's
for
what I
Dany.
want to see. Like The Trip. Has anyone ever seen that? Horrible movie. Don't see it.
Hyatt
fun.
Pre.
Yeah.
Great casting.
Yes.
Can never.
We need to find out who that actor is. He's
is
obviously
fantastic.
gaunt.
Yeah.
He's a creepy looking dude,
warlock.
but man, that really worked.
Yeah.
You know,
I pictured him shorter, but it
Yeah.
really works.
it really does.
Here's a question I'm told you'll understand. I don't know what this means.
Okay.
But we try to avoid teasing a little bit. Somebody asked in the chat room, do you guys give away things from the book? And I said we try not to do
We
that.
try not to, yeah.
So just look straight ahead, and if this makes sense to
Okay.
you, you want to say
Okay,
anything.
I'm putting him on my poker face.
So the reads are just written out of the Game of Thrones, indicates they won't be that important in the books.
We don't know that. You don't. For all we know, that they could show up in a different way
Yeah.
later
Who are
on.
the reads?
They're not in the show.
Oh, okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
they're not in the show.
All right, that's why I was like, what?
They would have just came in and
Yeah.
around now.
Yeah.
But then again,
Are they
as
people?
we see,
Yes,
there's-
they're people.
As we see, there's some differences. So I
Yeah.
think you guys even it's hard after this episode. I think it's hard for you guys to say anything.
Right.
I actually really like them. I won't give anything away. I actually really like them, so I hope that they do. And they think that they could.
I think they can meet them on the. They just left Winterfell.
Yeah,
So
they
can meet
weren't
them on the
that
road.
important in Winterfell. They weren't. They didn't. Osha kind of filled in the role that
Definitely.
they would have taken, and that will make sense to people who read the books. And that's all I'll say.
All right, that's pretty much it for the chat room right now.
Nice.
Fantastic. Well, I think this was a fantastic episode.
It was
A
awesome.
lot happened. There was a lot built up for this. A lot of tensions still rising. The one thing I will say is I don't understand the title of
Oh,
the
yeah.
episode,
Oh, yeah.
which was the old gods and,
And
the
the
new.
new.
There wasn't a lot about gods in this episode. Does
Mm-hmm.
anyone in the chat room maybe have? Kat has an idea?
I was wondering, I know they talked about one set of the gods is 7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And right before they all started rioting, and Joffrey's like, shut up, all of you. Some of the people were like, may the 7 gods bless
Right.
you, King Joffrey. And then they threw crap at him. So, I don't know. That was the only reference to gods I could recall.
With a title like that, I would think there'd be a little bit more conflict between the North and the South.
Yeah. Well,
You know
I
what
thought
mean?
we were going to see Melisandre when I read the title of that episode.
Well, the old gods are the gods of the first man and the Andals.
Yeah.
Right? The trees. And then
But
the
we
7
don't
are the
even-
new gods.
but
And then the
there's-
red priestess. Hey, There's all kinds of religion here, people. I don't know what's going on.
I really don't get the title. It didn't.
Hulk Trekker. The new gods are the characters who are now coming to power.
That's an interesting theory.
Oh,
But-
and here's a good one. I like this one a
Okay.
lot.
His name is Stifftronic.
Stifftronic. Why didn't Robb Stark ask his mom, "Who's that giant blonde woman with you?"
I was thinking the same thing, man.
Who's that person?
Hey,
That
you're
is
you're
so-
giving
Look, I know
me
I'm
crap
flirting right now,
about
but who's
this
that
girl, and who's your friend?
That is
Don't
so
question me.
true.
Yeah.
Who that?
Yeah,
they-
she kind of stands out.
Yeah.
I love how Catelyn like comes in and totally busts him. You
Yeah.
know, like just like there's all this tension and ooh, who are you? And you look good now that you're not all muddy and gross. And she comes in, she's like,
One
don't forget
that's
who
the
you
one-
are betrothed to.
That's the one other thing that's different from the book that we
Yeah.
didn't talk about.
But we don't
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
she's clearly highborn. He calls her out, calls her out as a liar. In the book, we already know her name by now.
In the book, it's Jane Westerling,
Yeah, her name's Jane Westerling.
and they're They were bannermen to the Lannisters. They were a small house, but now
Very
they're
small
saying
house.
that she's from Volantis, and we don't know. We don't know if she's lying.
Yeah.
We don't know if she's
That's-
actually. They're going to try to connect Volantis to the storyline down
Yeah.
the line. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to find out.
Couple more questions before
Awesome.
we.
Okay.
Are the gods in the Iron Islands new?
No.
That's one.
This year-
I mean,
Yeah.
they're old gods, but they're not
The
new.
drowned god.
It's the drowned god.
Right.
It's not like the god of light, who's just kind of unheard of and new.
Right.
And then same thing I was thinking. Says I see spots too. Where was Jor during the Dothraki killing?
Where was he on?
Where was Jorah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Where was he? We don't see him in
No,
this
she's
episode.
actually sent him away last episode. That was different from the book as well. She said, "Hey, I'll find you a captain. I'll find you a ship captain.
Oh,
Go
right.
do it." When she
She
kind of
does,
feel,
yeah.
when she
Yeah.
kind of felt like, "Oh crap, he's looking at me creepy."
Yeah, he's starting to get a little creepy.
Trying to get a little creep back.
Starting-
I can't even believe you're real.
He's starting to make eyes,
Yeah.
which Viserys called him out on
Right.
in the Golden Crown episode.
Right.
He is like, I see how you look at my sister. You can have her. You can fuck her. I don't care. Like very crude. He said that. Not
I
me.
know.
Not
I just
me.
wasn't expecting you to drop the F-bomb.
That's what he said.
Yeah, it was totally. Yeah. No.
He doesn't care. He was whoring her out anyways.
I know. Viserys is a pimp. No.
Worked out real
We
well.
got one
for
more
him.
question, or are we
No,
done?
that's it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you for watching Stupid for Game of Thrones. Was this not fun?
This was as always.
As always, it was fun. Please.
Thanks for sticking it out with us, guys. Subscribe to Streamin Garage. Like us on Facebook. Follow
Twitter.
us on Twitter.
And don't forget, if you go back and watch past episodes, we had Jane Espenson on, we had Brian Cogman on, we had the creator of the Dothraki language on, so feel free to go back and check out those episodes.
Those are all so fun.
Super fun.
Those are just fun.
See you next week, guys.
We will see you next week.
Yay!